That's an easy night for y'all. Y'all come here and box me up real quick, probably clip me, then go home.
As a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Jake Paul has brought in Shakur Stevenson to help him prepare for his upcoming fight with Gervonta Davis. He chose Shakur because his speed and skill closely resemble Tank's style, making him the perfect sparring partner. After 5 years in the sport, Jake says this kind of training will give him the edge he needs. Confident and focused, he's determined to surprise everyone by knocking out Gervonta Davis and showing that he deserves a place among boxing's top fighters.
Prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you. How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So
wow.
Just sparring against guys on their level and people who have been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punch.
Jake Paul has come a long way since stepping away from social media and into professional boxing. He's already earned several legitimate wins, showing real growth and discipline in the sport. Despite constant criticism, Jake keeps training hard, focused on proving his doubters wrong. His upcoming fight with Gervonta Davis is his toughest test yet, and he's determined to shock the world again by showing just how much his skill, power, and dedication have developed.
Shock the world and even shock myself and show myself what I'm capable of.
When you picture how it goes down, is there something that you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself knocking him out? Do you imagine being victorious? And what would that mean for you? A guy, again, who has only been in this sport for a couple of years. You've turned it on its head. You've had a massive impact, clearly, in just a few years, but it's only been a few years. That's the bottom line.
No, exactly. This is my 5th year as a pro, and so I've had to progress faster than anyone else in the sport to be able to compete at this level and to be able to hang in there with these guys. But I do believe that I have the power and the offense to be able to walk Tank into a knockout like I've done with other opponents and set them up for it. And so I am fully confident in my ability, and I think it would be one of the craziest upsets in a long time.
Yeah, one of the craziest upsets ever, probably, in many people's eyes. Well, I think I saw Cardi B just put a $250,000 bet down. It was a parlay, I believe, on Aspen all over Cyril Gahn. But then for Tank to beat you, have you seen that? And what do you think about Cardi B potentially placing a $250,000 bet here?
I didn't know.
Jake Paul has recently brought Shakur Stevenson into his training camp, a clear sign that he's taking this fight seriously. Paul revealed that Stevenson himself offered to join the camp, which gives extra credibility to his preparation. To match Gervonta Davis's speed and left-handed style, Jake is training with several skilled southpaw fighters. This setup helps him adjust to Tank's timing, movement, and angles. Instead of relying just on power, Paul is now focusing on discipline, footwork, and conditioning. Having a technically skilled fighter like Stevenson by his side adds real professionalism to Jake's unorthodox style. It's a strong statement that Paul isn't just in boxing for show. He's determined to prove he can compete with the best.
Sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are.
Despite ongoing debates about celebrity boxing, the sport hasn't lost its traditional appeal. Fans still tune into big fights not just for the show, but for the history and respect boxing represents. The upcoming clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis has reignited that passion across the boxing world. Fighter Brian Mendoza shared his view that events like this are simply part of the sport's evolution. He explained that if a fighter can draw attention and bring in money, it makes sense for them to get those opportunities. Boxing, after all, is also a business where popularity can open doors. This matchup has sparked global conversation. proving that boxing remains both relevant and commercially strong in an era driven by social media and short attention spans.
People getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby.
You know,
I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things. But there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore. But it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like they're talking like I don't know the official one. They're talking about 100 mil.
Oh damn!
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, the more of a difference.
Right.
There might be less hate on it, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world in
The unexpected partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson has surprised many fans. Stevenson, known for his discipline and old-school approach, rarely works with crossover boxers like Jake. Still, their collaboration highlights a unique mix of traditional and modern boxing styles. While some see it as an odd pairing, both fighters clearly benefit. Jake gains valuable technical knowledge from one of the sport's sharpest tacticians, and Stevenson reaches a wider, younger audience through Jake's massive following. Reports from their training sessions describe an intense, focused atmosphere, proof that unlikely partnerships can still deliver real progress. Their teamwork also reflects how boxing is evolving, blending entertainment with elite-level preparation to stay relevant in today's world.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against YouTube, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly?
Since the announcement of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight, Shakur Stevenson has been open about his perspective. Many assumed his involvement meant he was siding with Jake, but Stevenson clarified that isn't the case. He sees the fight from two angles, business and competition. From a business standpoint, he admits the matchup makes sense because it will attract huge attention and generate big money, which is what boxing promotions look for. But from a competitive view, he understands it doesn't fully represent the sport's purest form. Rather than taking sides, Stevenson has stayed neutral, recognizing both the commercial value and Tank's right to take the fight. His measured response reflects maturity. He's more focused on boxing's evolution than personal judgment.
Taking that opportunity, because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
okay.
It just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So, as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made. You think you might consider doing the same thing, right?
I would, but you gotta also realize I know that it's not going nowhere. Like
Right.
the fight ain't gonna go nowhere. Like say, because if I really believe in myself,
Right.
and I wholeheartedly think like if we fight again, I'm gonna win this fight.
That fight still be there around the
After
corner.
I beat this motherfucker, where you at?
Yeah.
The fight's still there. It's not gonna go nowhere. But if I have a 50-50 thought process to
doubt.
where it's like,
Right.
yeah, I got doubt in my brain, I may be like, all right, fuck it.
Also,
Let's
in his
cash
case,
out.
Right,
in his
right.
case, it might be that he's tired of fighting anyway. He's leaning towards retiring.